Bethlehem, the city believed to be the birthplace of Jesus. But because Bethlehem is a Palestinian city in the Israeli-occupied West Bank, it's surrounded today by a massive concrete wall, military checkpoints, and illegal settlements.
It's imposing a system of control that I'm sure Jesus was very familiar of. If he's born today, he would be born on our side of the wall.
Over the decades, the percentage of Christians living in Bethlehem and the occupied Palestinian territories has plummeted, rendering them practically invisible. Did you know there were Palestinian Christians before coming here?
No, I didn't.
مسيحية طلعت من هون يعني المفروض يكونوا أوعى من هيك.
So what happened to all the Christians? To find out, I'm here to ask the Palestinian Christians that remain.
It's a big issue for us that one day the Holy Land will become without Christians.
Has imposed this permit system on Palestinians living in the West Bank and Gaza since 1993. To leave those territories, even if it's to worship at Jerusalem's holy sites, Palestinians have to apply for Israeli permits that are often rejected. In 2022, many local Christians were banned from attending Easter celebrations at the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, where Jesus is believed to have been buried.
It was very upsetting to see, as a Christian, that I and others like me can't go to one of our important ceremonies in Easter, the most important ceremony. This is, of course, part of a much larger violation of Palestinian Christians' right to religion.
Because like other Palestinians, Christians have faced violence and attacks from the Israeli state and settlers alike. One shocking recent example of an attack on Christians at the hands of Israel was this. In May 2022, Israeli forces attacked the funeral procession of Palestinian Christian and renowned Al Jazeera journalist Shireen Abu Akleh. She was shot in the head by an Israeli soldier while reporting in a helmet and flak jacket clearly marked as press.
It was extremely upsetting. Even just her funeral, it was under attack. It was probably one of the biggest events that I've seen in my lifetime, where you see both the Palestinian struggle and Christian symbolisms sort of in one place. There were both Muslims and Christians praying together. Often there's this desire and interest to see Palestinians split on the basis of religion. And by the West, also a narrative where Muslims are persecuting Christians. But here we saw all Palestinians coming together.
Palestinian Christians were among the earliest and most fervent opponents of British colonial rule in Palestine, and were early leaders in fighting against the displacement of Palestinians to make room for a Jewish state. And that fight continues on today with people like the Nassar family. We're on our way to visit the Nassar family who we met at church yesterday. They own a 100-acre farm south of Bethlehem that the family has had for over a century, and it's currently surrounded by illegal Israeli settlements.
Here we are in the center of 5 Israeli settlements.
There's one right there.
There is one
We're
there.
looking at it.
You can see that all hilltops around us are already Israeli settlements existing, except of this hilltop. And so we are the only hilltop in this area that is without an Israeli settlement.
Dawood's grandfather purchased this land, now dubbed Tent of Nations, in 1916, a full 32 years before the creation of Israel. But now Israel says it owns the land and wants to build Jewish settlements on the Nassar family's farm. The family is fighting to stay on the land, but it's not easy.
إنه ممنوع نبني، ممنوع يكون عندنا مي، ممنوع كهرباء. معظم الوقت إذا بدنا نيجي ونروح نرجع من الأرض ونيجي على الأرض، مرات بتكون في check points.
Because of those restrictions, Dawood showed me where the family sometimes has to worship in an ancient underground cave.
Here we have our chapel where people used to worship.
Wow.
And still we have also a church service once in a while here. And this is the place where we come together, and it's about like being together, fellowship with one another.
Over the years, the Israeli army and nearby settlers have attacked Dawood's farm, setting fire to crops and bulldozing fruit trees. Still, in the face of all this, Dawood says they refuse to be victims. How does your Christian faith inform how you resist this occupation?
Jesus also saw a lot of, like injustices happening. We refuse to hate, but that doesn't mean to accept the bad actions that people are doing against us. We are people who believe in justice.
Dawood's family has been defending their land in the Israeli courts for over 30 years. I think, when you're talking, people might not realize you're a Palestinian family on Palestinian land, and Israel's trying to take your land, and the only recourse you have is to resort to an Israeli military court. It's like the cards are stacked against you, it sounds.
Of course, we know that this is unjust, and we are under occupation. For us, this is the only way to try to protect, keep knocking at the door of justice,
In the meantime, Daoud says that most of the other Christian families in the nearby village of Nahalin have left after being pushed out by settlements and blocked off by the wall.
You feel that we are the only hope for the village to exist. So our mission to protect the land is not just about protecting the private property, but it is the hope for many people. We ask you to bless our community here and to bless the food.
The farm hosts summer camps and activities for the local Palestinian community. It also hosts international volunteers. Thousands have come over the years and have more freedom of movement than the Nassar family themselves.
يعني أنا دائما عدة مرات بحكي للجروبات يا ريتني إنه أنا أروح معكم في الباص وتلففوا لنا، لأنه مزبوط إحنا ما بنعرف جوا، إحنا ما بنعرف بالضبط من القدس ولا الشمال، يعني ما بنعرف البلد منيح. إذا أنت حطيتيني في القدس أنا ما بعرف، بضيع.
احكي لي ليش أنتوا وجودكم كعائلة مسيحية مهمة كتير هون؟
مش عارف، عمريش فكرت انه انا انه انا بفكر انه انا فلسطيني وخلص يعني، بس بجوز انه احنا واحدة عيلة واحدة من قلائل عيال مسيحية انه عندهم ارض ولساتهم موجودين بارضهم، مع انه يعني كتير فلسطينية بمروا في نفس المشاكل، يعني مشاكلنا نفس اي مشكلة لاي فلسطيني.
فدعا واحد